Hey everybody. Just wanted to take a moment and reflect on our scare here in the state of Hawaii 48 hours ago and give my experience and just kind of thoughts that I've gathered and some details that haven't been really mentioned on the news, which I find interesting and political and off-putting. Um, so I'll say as a preface that one thing that isn't being reported is that a few months ago, our entire state was prepared for this alert, for this action, if it were to happen, and we were given directions on how to find a strategy, where to go, how to be safe, what to prepare for. So before 8:07 a.m. on January 13th, we already had this seed planted in our head that this was a reality and that this could happen. So that fear was already instilled, and this was already a conversation we had before January 13th. And everyone's reactions here, out of the dozen or so people that I've spoke with and talked to about, asked questions about how they reacted, and they were all over the spectrum of responses. There were some people who thought this was fake news and didn't react at all, and all the way to the other end where there were parents. This was more based on Oahu and the city of Honolulu, where they were putting their children underground in sewers to keep them as safe as possible. Back here on my island, the Big Island, I talked to people who live alone, who were calling their family and giving last messages, who were gathering, people on different properties were gathering together, filling up their tubs with water so they had something to drink, because water and supplies was a concern based on the information we were given months ago on what to do. So the responses were all over the place on an emotional and strategic basis on what people thought to do next. Mine was emotional for a lot of reasons. One, I was woken up to this alert. And when you get an alert like this, it is extremely jarring. It is loud. It's not like a tornado warning. It's like a louder, like car alarm sounding, holy crap kind of sound. And woke up to that out of a dream. And my housemate was knocking on my door, and she was already in tears, and she was already in belief of this. And so while trying to console her and trying to gather my consciousness as I'm waking up, without coffee, by the way, it would have been nice to have a cup of coffee before this happened, I went outside with her, turned on the TV, and we saw the alert on the TV as well. So now this became solidified, where I saw the alert twice, and I have somebody she was calling her family, and she was giving messages of love and feelings of her fear. And then I started to feel the feelings of fear, and I, for the first time in my life, had an adrenaline shot of fate, of death that was a possibility, and I didn't know what to do with that. A lot of details went into the people I talked to, the information I got, but we did get in my car and we went en route to this church that we planned on going to, which has a cement basement sort of in the ground. And here on the Big Island, on all the islands, I'm assuming, we don't really have basements. So we figured that would be the safest place to go. So we started to implement our strategy route, what to do. And then like I said, I made a lot of calls, and eventually the information came and I began to settle down. But for that first 20 minutes, it was a real fear, an adrenaline-stricken, hand-shaking, heart-pounding, thinking about my younger family members, thinking about death fear. And I never thought I would experience that. So I wanted to mention that because the stories I see on CNN or on the mainland are different than what I'm feeling from people here, and how tourists and locals and people like myself who live here went through. That being said, I have a lot of different feelings about this being political. I do not believe at all that somebody accidentally hit a button which made this alert go out. I don't think that's a possibility. If it is, it's very elementary of an excuse that you could accidentally push something. That doesn't add up. And there's all kinds of things and reactions that bother me. For the example of, I do not support Trump's ideologies and policies in a lot of ways. And when this alert happened, it made me get angry and give anger towards this administration and him for his tweets and for all these things. And again, I have a lot of thoughts because I don't know if I can blame that. I don't know if this was an actual accident or if we were being used as a pawn for some political strategy. The parallel I think about is, what if this alert went out in New York City, Manhattan? What if it said that there was an documented plane flying low in New York City? Take cover, this is not a drill. I mean, it creates this chaos. And it's believable because it's happened in New York, and it's also happened here. Pearl Harbor, September 11th. These are things that we're aware of, right? So I just want everyone to be aware that there seems to have been a sort of linear setup for this scare in the state of Hawaii, that we were told to get ready for something like this to happen. We had to have that difficult conversation about our political environment and realize that the environment we're in now within our politics and world sort of interaction of world powers is that a war could be on the break at any given time. And then months down the road, here we are, January 13th, we get an actual scare and saying that this is really happening. So I don't know what to take from this. I just wanted to give my sort of experience. And I want people to realize that this is ironic on a lot of different levels, and I don't quite know what to believe, and I don't know where we're going to go from here. But what I do know is that this cannot divide anymore the Trump supporter versus the non-Trump supporter, the Republican versus the Democrat, the ideologies on both sides, the conservative values and the liberal values. This feels political and strategic to me because I wanted to get angry and I wanted to place blame. However, that reaction is not going to do this country any good at this point. We're already in that sensibility of division and not even talking about politics because that person supports Trump and that person doesn't, so why cross that bridge, right? Well, if anything I can take from this is we need to cross that bridge and we need to do it together. I just felt it important to share my feelings as I'm still gathering them and let everybody know back home that I love you and this scare was real, and I hope that nobody ever has to experience what I went through on Saturday. So thanks for listening, and I wanted to get that out there. So everyone take care and have a beautiful day.